Good morning, Nico. How are you? Good morning, Ollie. Good morning, Keegan. Ollie and Nico. Whoa. Good morning, Keegan Smith. Good morning, Zoe Plummer Tripp. Good morning, Lex Lakin. You guys are early. I like it. Good morning, Finn Lofgren. Good morning, Emma Jarvis. Good morning, Jules. Good morning, Russell. Good morning, Lena. Good morning, Mia. Good morning, Dia. Good morning, Chen Chen. Good morning, Everett. And good morning, Ella. Okay, just give me 1 second here. Hey, Miriam, come here. Okay, Miriam, come on, hurry up. Whoa. Good morning, Owen. Good morning, Somerset. Good morning, Cooper. All right, and I believe it is Chen Chen's birthday, so on the count of three, we are going to sing happy birthday to Chen Chen. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chen Chen. Happy birthday to you. All right, good job. Thank you. Close that door. Happy birthday, Chen Chen. June 1st. Band got back together. All right, so it's 9 o'clock, and we'll wait 1 more minute. If you haven't already checked your email, you might want to check your email while we're waiting for excuse me, while we're waiting for other folks to arrive on the call. And I'm just taking good morning, Ezra. Let's see, where's Ezra? Good morning. Good morning, Sadie. Good morning, Che. Okay, I'm just gonna write down a couple notes to myself here. Okay, so it is 9 o'clock, and I'm going to go over some reminders and then go over the learning opportunities, and away we'll go. So, good morning, Alara Cohn. So, the first thing that I want to mention today is June 1st. And 2020 is turning out to be quite the year. In addition to the pandemic, which we've been dealing with for 3 months, we've also had an explosion of protests and violence and outrage over the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis, which happened last Monday. So, good morning, Aiden. So I'm sure that folks are aware of that, and I'm obviously very aware of that, and I'm also very aware of how it tied into what we were studying in class right before we left school in terms of the Black Lives Matter and in terms of breaking barriers and the like. So if so that conversation doesn't take up all morning. This morning, I am going to have, good morning, Maggie. I'm going to have at 9:30 a current events discussion. If anybody wants to show up to that and just discuss what's going on with current events, you're more than welcome. So again, at 9:30 this morning, Dynamix 802 meet, and it's simply a discussion space for current events. So again, you should be aware that there are lots of things happening out there in the world. There's protests across, I think, 120 cities last night, and the curfew and National Guard have been called out to more cities over the weekend. They have not been called out at this level since 1968. So it's obviously a historic event, and we'll see what happens. So 9:30 this morning, if you want to drop in on a Dynamix 802 meet, I'd welcome a conversation about current events if anybody's interested. Okay, good morning, Owen, and good morning, Mallory. So couple things this week. Today is, like I said, it's June 1st. Happy birthday, Chen Chen. It's also our second to last Monday of the year, and this is the last full week of the school year. So in your email that I sent to you, I'm asking that you review the week ahead. That's a presentation that identifies the different things that are happening through the week ahead. Also, there is again, the current events discussion at 9:30 today. 8th graders, you need to make sure that you get your photos for the slideshow to Dia Kulkarni. And I think Dia mentioned that the deadline for that is June 8th, which is, I believe, next Monday. Okay. Also, 8th graders, there's a yearbook dedication survey. If you haven't already turned that in, please turn that in. And then there's a final project sharing. 8th graders, you really need to complete that, okay? And then just as a reminder, this week, your Odyssey, I'm gonna ask you to finish listening to the Odyssey. Lex, you need to pay attention, please, and stop chatting. You need to finish the Odyssey, and then also your final project reflections should be almost all complete by the end of this week. And I've gone through all the ones that were submitted to me. I've gone through and looked at, I've added some comments. This week, you should be finalizing those and making sure that you're good to go. And 8th graders, don't forget, you want to make sure that you're filling out that project sharing, because I know that some of you do want to share your projects with your peers. There has been a question in the chat about year-ending activities. So Mr. Humke and I are talking about having a year-end sort of a Google Meet where we would all get together and hand out awards to 8th graders. We're definitely going to give awards. Good morning, Cadence. We're definitely going to give awards to 8th graders, and we're working on that right now. So stay tuned for that. Most likely that'll be June 11th. June 10th, which would be next Wednesday, but we'll get back to you about what that's going to look like. Probably be a Google Meet, again, where we traditionally hand out some awards to 8th graders. And then June 11th is your graduation. You should all have received information about the graduation. It's going to be at Montpelier High School. Good morning, Colden. And it's going to be a sort of a drive-through graduation. I'm looking forward to seeing people at that. And so just start making plans for that. As you start thinking about these next 2 weeks, I would definitely be on a schedule. I have a learning opportunity for you where I'm asking you today to create a learning schedule and to set 2 learning goals for the week. I know that this is hard. This is a time of year where it gets really hard. We're almost at the finish line, and we need to really bear down, right? This is where, we're going to test our mettle a little bit and see how strong we can finish. I'm definitely noticing that we're kind of flagging, which means that, people are not, it's just hard. It's hard right now to put the pedal to the metal and gas it up. It's hard to keep going, but we're right close to the finish line, and we really need to bear down. So I'm asking your first learning opportunity is for you to set a schedule for the week, to try and stick to that schedule and to set some goals for those things you want to accomplish. I think if you have a strong week this week, that makes next week a little bit easier and also kind of sets the stage for you to finish on a real positive note. Okay. So your learning opportunity, number one, is to create a learning schedule. And this is linked in your email, and that's linked right to a Google Classroom assignment. Learning opportunity number two is just to work on finishing your final project reflections. Make sure you're going through and looking at capitalization. Make sure you're going through all your sentences are complete. If possible, you might want to add images to your slideshow. The images certainly help to illustrate and support your points. And just make sure they're posted in that spreadsheet, which is also linked in your email. The reason I want you to have them posted in the spreadsheet is it just allows me to find them easily, to edit them, and then to identify whose work that I've edited and whose work I have yet to see. Learning opportunity number three is to continue listening to the Odyssey. If you go online, I've added the second part of chapter 8, and then I'm hopeful that I'm going to add chapter 9 today or tomorrow, so the entire Odyssey will be up and loaded, and then you can listen to that throughout the week and make sure it's finished. One thing I do want to add is that we're going to have our lit circles this week, and we're going to be talking about Odysseus and his relationships. Last week we created relationship webs, and this week we're going to discuss those relationship webs and talk about how Odysseus's relationships impacted our understanding of him as a hero. So try and listen at least through chapter 8, and you want to think about Odysseus and his relationships. And your attendance at those lit circles is something I am putting into Power School. So try and make sure you get there. I think those discussions have been pretty good so far. And then the last learning opportunity, and it's, I would say it's number 4 because it's probably the last one that I want you to be concerned with. But make sure that you're putting your learning certificates online on the evidence page of your PLP. Okay. So, and these learning opportunities right here are probably are the ones you have for the whole week. So there's not going to be too much additional. You just have to create that learning schedule with goals. That's due on Wednesday. You need to make sure your final reflection project is, 90% finished by Friday, if not completely finished. And then you need to listen to the Odyssey, and we have the whole week to do that. And then next week when we come back, we are going to, be working on collecting all the evidence from our learning and putting that on our PLP. We're going to be getting ready for the graduation. And then I'm also going to provide you with an exit survey about your remote learning experience. Good morning, Elka. So that's pretty much, this is it. This is like the last hard part before we can really start thinking about the end of school. And again, I know it's really hard, but we just got to bear down. It's, I'm having to bear down a lot too, and we just got to get through it and keep your head down, one foot in front of the other. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for me right now about the learning opportunities, about the schedule for the week? Nobody has a question. Okay, we're all good. Okay, so at 9:30, remember, if you want to have a discussion about current events, ask questions, hear from each other, that's completely optional. I just put that on the agenda because I know that there might be some people who have questions or who want to talk about it, but we'll be talking about the George Floyd protests, the Black Lives Matter movement, and maybe what's going to happen next. So 9:30, if you want to show up, you can show up. If I don't see you at 9:30, I'll assume that you're going to be working on humanities until 10 o'clock. I believe that Mr. Humke actually canceled his Google Meets because he had a doctor's appointment, so you have a little bit of extra time to work. It would be a great time to catch up on anything that you're missing. Okay, so I hope everybody has a great and productive day. If you have questions, don't hesitate to be in touch. As always, I'm online, so I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And then the last thing, I think I have assessed everything that's been turned in. So if you don't have a certificate or you're missing something, don't hesitate to be in touch. Okay. Have a great day, everybody, and I will talk to you soon. Bye now.